Futures now, old man.
What to do, Rookie HQ? We are here with you, Jose and J Mac, to go over some rookie market values. We're going to jump right into it. Today we got kind of a packed episode. We want to go over Daniel Jeremiah's 2026 NFL Mock 2.0. Kind of look at some landing spot for the rookies that we have here, just to give you guys a little bit of a different take than we've been giving you here on the Rookie Market Value Show. But we do want to give you some rookie market values. So let's jump right into that. Are you ready, Jose?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, let's take a look at Player Profiler's rookie values here and where they're taking a look at the guys coming in here to the 2026 NFL class. We looked at the Fantasy Calc last week and kind of compared them to the startup values and where they're going in Sleeper at ADP. So let's take a look here at what Player Profiler here has for the top 10 rookies off the board. They got Jeremiah Love as the number one. No shock there. We're looking at a Superflex tight end premium. You have Fernando Mendoza coming in at QB2, or sorry, not QB2, QB1 at rank 2 in the draft rankings here. He's got a lifetime value of 164.9. Just for some context, a 2027 first is roughly around 115 lifetime value. So you're looking about Fernando Mendoza as being worth like a 1, a 2, and a 3, a 2027 class, according to Player Profiler here. Then they got Carnell Tate coming in as number 3 at 152 lifetime value. Mekhi Lemon right behind him as the 4th prospect here, coming in at 148. Jordan Tyson, again, right behind him at 144. So that 3-pack of wide receivers are not separated by more than 8 points in lifetime value, which kind of goes with consensus of here. I think the only difference that we've seen here is that they do have Fernando Mendoza up in that second spot above those 3-pack of wide receivers. And to each their own. I feel like, that's just the process play of drafting a quarterback in a super flex league. Then we're looking at Denzel Boston going behind Jordan Tyson. Denzel Boston going behind Jordan Tyson for 121. So now we start to see kind of that value dip here, going off at 20 points. Behind him, KC Concepcion going for 100. So now we've seen another dip of 40, which is roughly like the value of a second. So between the 105 and the 107, they have a second round value as a difference going between them. Then we see Kenyon Sadiq sneak in to the draft rankings here at number 8 with a value of 101.42. So right there with KC Concepcion. Then it looks like they have a tier break after the 108. And we see Elijah Surratt with 80.2 at the 109. And Emmett Johnson with 65.8. So again, another tier break. It feels like Elijah Surratt is probably the last of the best of who you're going to want. I like Elijah Surratt a lot. That this kind of lines up with what we've been believing, where you really want the 109 and above, and kind of beyond that, you're really just taking dart throws. But the draft is going to dictate all of this. So, all right. Just wanted to get that, guys, on your radar. We will be covering this as news changes. So as we get to the combine and go forward from there, these values are probably going to start rising, falling, depending on what we see coming out of the news there. So wanted to just kind of put this on the board so that we could reference it in future. So let's dive into the Daniel Jeremiah 2026 NFL Mock 2.0. The headline here is Giants, one of 6 teams to pick a wide receiver. And the Chiefs go running back. So right off the bat, we know that we got 6 wide receivers in the first round of the 2026 mock draft here by Daniel Jeremiah. And if you don't know who Daniel Jeremiah is, he's pretty plugged in. He does really well kind of predicting where the draft goes. So we take his word with quite a bit of weight here. So at number 1, Fernando Mendoza going to the Raiders. No shock there, right, Jose?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like what you were saying about Daniel Jeremiah, is kind of what I like about his is it avoids a lot of times kind of the sensationalist takes that could kind of sprout out there when people are doing mock drafts, and it looks kind of a good idea of marriage of like information and also just things that make sense. Like the Raiders taking Mendoza, I think that's pretty much been confirmed by basically everybody. I think it would be a big shock if he wasn't. And we'll have to see what Kubiak can do as a head coach to develop a young quarterback.
Yeah, and if you want our opinions and views on Fernando Mendoza, go ahead and check out our quarterback prospects. You can check that out over on our main YouTube page or anywhere you get podcasts, really. I'd be excited for Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders. I don't know if I'm taking him 102. We kind of talked about that here a little bit, but man, I've seen some people kind of steaming him up, and I might be able to be bought back into it. So I don't know what to think of this guy. I think I'm gonna need more information there. But let's keep moving. We have picks 2, 3, 4, all going non-skill players until we get to pick number 5 with the New York Giants, where they select Carnell Tate, Ohio State wide receiver. Carnell Tate going to the Giants, barf, this would make me feel really bad about Malik Neighbors and honestly Carnell Tate too. I mean, I guess maybe you could look at this as like a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins kind of tandem here, but are we really gonna put Dart in the same conversation as like a Joe Burrow and feel good about it? What do you think, Jose?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a different mock draft. I don't think it was Daniel Jeremiah, it's a different one, but that had Makai Lemon going to the Giants, and I felt the same way. I mean, this is kind of just maybe it's a little bit different position, but yeah, man, I don't love it. I don't love that we'd be putting a rookie right behind immediately. What we consider one of the top fantasy assets at wide receiver. So it's not great. You would hope that the offense there. What are they going to be running? It's not Dable's offense anymore. So it's going to have a lot of questions tied to it. I think in general, it might, if the Carnell Tate and Makai Lemon are very neck and neck right now. I think kind of Tate has taken over the original hype that Lemon had. This could be something that, maybe knocks Tate right back below Lemon into rookie season if he were to get this sort of landing spot.
If the Giants don't go drafting trenches in the first round, what are they doing, man? Like I get it. Like I don't know. Like I can't dog what the Giants have done. They've hit on their draft picks over the last couple years. So I don't know, but hopefully Daniel Jeremiah misses here because I would hate to see that. All right, 6, 7 go again non-skill players, and then we get to number 8, Makai Lemon out of USC going to the New Orleans Saints. How are you feeling about that one? I mean, with Tyler Shuck and you got Chris Olave there, Juwan Johnson was kind of breaking out. I feel like that would quell the hype for him. Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kellen Moore has been able to utilize his slot receivers pretty well. I mean, that's kind of what Makai Lemon is projecting out to be more in the slot. So I think it would be decent. I think it's a little bit of the Tate kind of feeling where he's going to where we have an established wide receiver one in Olave. And we don't feel great about the quarterback, even though we feel okay about Chuck being a starter in the NFL and doing well for Olave. Is he really going to be able to support a rookie wide receiver and into the future along with
Yeah.
Olave? It's a lot to ask. It's not the worst landing spot ever, but it's definitely not that exciting compared to some of the other places he could potentially go.
Yeah, 100%. I would. I don't want to see it. I like Makai Lemon. I want him to land well. And at least, we could say he's in the Kellen Moore offense, which I would feel good about. Him and Olave being able just to be mixed around the set altogether, like they could play in the slot, they could play outside. I would feel really good about the tandem of those two. I just I want to buy into Tyler Shuck, but I'm still skeptical. And I think he's going to be on a short leash just because the draft capital spent in him. They put a second into him, I think. So, I mean, it's not great. It's not great. I would love to see Makai Lemon land elsewhere, but I'm still gonna buy, man. He's the talent. He's my guy. I want him. I want him. We'll see how it goes though. But let's jump into the next one here because as you guys can probably see on the screen, this is probably gonna be, if this happened, this would be the talk of Friday. And like no other news media would be covering anything else other than Jeremiah Love going to the Kansas City Chiefs. The junior out of Notre Dame lands with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they can run the ball until they're blue in the face now. This would be a lot of fun, man. Are you on the same page with me, or are you not liking it?
No, man. I mean, any running back, basically, whether it's Jeremiah Love or one of the, free agent guys that lands in Kansas City is going to be very exciting. Obviously, for rookie season here on Rookie HQ, if it's Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs, I do think that is one of the landing spots, maybe the only one that I see that could vault Love into sort of that next stratosphere
Mm,
of elite kind of level player, just because who you're playing with, how they use their running backs, what that offense produces, how many goal line touches will he be able to get, and unless they drafted another guy or brought back like a Hunt or Pacheco on a cheap or wanted somebody else, it'd pretty much be Jeremiah Love's position from day one. There would be almost nobody there competing with him since their running backs are all on free agent, becoming
mm-hmm.
free agents. So, yeah, man, it would be great for fantasy. It would be great for all 101 managers out there. If that happened, you probably are not trading for the 101 at any sort of logical sense or logical price. So, yeah, it would be amazing. The first kind of players we talked about were not that exciting. This would be very, very exciting.
Do you think Jeremiah Love landing in Kansas City would erase kind of this notion of uh, running back by committee backfield? Like I know they're spending the ninth overall pick there. Like he's obviously going to be the guy, but is he going to be a bell cow where he's getting 70-80% of the touches? I mean, in the past few years, we haven't really seen that. They haven't really had the guy. Isaiah Pacheco was that for a little bit, but even when Isaiah Pacheco was the guy, like he was still only getting like 60-70% of that share. So do you think there's a chance that they have another guy that they like that kind of splits the backfield?
I mean, it could, and you could see it. I mean, we've seen it with the Atlanta Hawks, jeez,
what
Atlanta
are we doing?
Falcons,
What are we?
different bird, same city. With Bijan Robinson Algier, right? They took him. What was it? 9? Was it the same spot
Yeah.
or was it so? And they had him splitting the backfield with Algier. I think that was just a case that they had Algier and wanted to take Bijan there. The Chiefs don't scream to me as a badly run team or offense by any sense. If they were to
Shots fired. The Hawk fans are real mad at you right now.
if they were to spend a top 10 pick on a running back, which is not that common in the NFL, I think it would be to make him a focal point of the offense. I don't think Andy Reid would
Yeah.
sit there and be like, hey, let's draft this guy so we could give him the ball only, 10 touches a game or 15. It would be, I think, is exactly as Daniel Jeremiah puts it there, which is what I was saying. Like, he marries a lot of the things that he knows and along with things that are common sense that make sense. Like the Chiefs continue to see this, the conservative shell defense, like it says there. So now I'm going to get an elite running back and say,
Mhm.
if you're going to continue to try to still take Patrick Mahomes' ability to throw deep, then we're just going to run you over and we're going to use, our premier pick we haven't picked in the top 10 in forever on a great running back talent, and just make you now you have another thing to think about. I
Mm.
think that makes a lot of sense, just logically speaking. So I think it would be to be a workhorse, a la like sorry, like what they try to do with Genti, but they could, their offensive line was just way worse.
Yeah,
But
but they're
I
not
could
the
see.
Kansas City Chiefs, and Geno Smith was the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this feels a lot like, I don't think that it'd be a committee thing, and it feels a lot more like when they had Kareem Hunt in that rookie year, when he got kind of he was that tool, right, of being able to hit them in the face and had the kind of burst and speed, and play pass catching ability. Like Jeremiah Love seems to kind of be that guy. So, all right, I'm with it. All right, let's keep moving. We have picks 10, 11, 12, 13, all of them drafting non-skill positions until we get to the Baltimore Ravens at 14, where they draft Jordan Tyson, or Arizona State wide receiver. How are you feeling about this? And is this condemning of Zay Flowers if this were to happen, especially in an offensive scheme where we don't really know how to fit Jordan Tyson into?
Yeah, I mean, it's always one of those things when regime changes, right? Especially when it's been there for so long. The new coach comes in and drafts a position that you think is kind of filled, at least in a wide receiver one sense. I think that would be a condemnation of Zay Flowers, but also I don't think there's been too many people that have been super excited about Zay Flowers. You have him
Mm,
in Dynasty on teams, and you're like, yeah, Zay Flowers is good, but like you're not overly excited, right? I don't think unless he's like your wide receiver two or even one, you're not going to be super upset that Jordan Tyson comes in. I think this would be great for Jordan Tyson. I don't hate the landing spot at all. You're playing with Lamar Jackson, who hopefully can bounce back. You're playing on hopefully a rejuvenated offense. You still got Henry, who's going to be able to run the ball. So in terms of like the wide receivers, I think this is the first one that got an okay to favorable landing spot. Obviously, there's a lot left to be seen of how does Lamar operate in a new system for the first time in his career. But if we trust Lamar to be an elite quarterback, then this should be only nothing but good news.
yeah, this is an interesting one. This is where Jesse Minters went, right? I think he's the head coach for the Ravens there. So yeah, I mean, this would be an kind of an odd pick if this were to happen. But like you said, like a good landing spot for Jordan Tyson here. And you say people are not excited about Zay Flowers, but I feel like there's a hive out there for him, and like they're still leaning on the analytics of Zay Flowers, and the targets per route run, yards per route run. I think he had like 4 yards per route run or something like that last season, something ridiculous. But he's not the red zone threat. Like his touchdowns are he does never has enough to kind of make him to put him into that next tier here. But Jordan Tyson definitely would not be helping that at all. So. All right, let's keep moving here. We have picks 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all of them. We keep going all the way down till we get to 21, where Denzel Boston of Washington Huskies is taken by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, yeah, why not, right? I mean, we have a new offensive system here. It's, now Mike McCarthy coming in, plugging in his offensive scheme with Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jalen Warren. Where does Denzel Boston fit in to this scheme here?
I mean, I guess if it is Aaron Rodgers, then it's a big question mark because we know all the temperament that Aaron Rodgers has. He doesn't have a lot of patience, doesn't normally tend to love rookie players. So it could be a big question. I think I don't know if he is for sure coming back. McCarthy as an offensive play caller, at least at the beginning, is can be pretty decent. I don't remember who they hired as his OC to go along with him. But I know when he was with the Cowboys, he was at least the one calling the plays, so it didn't matter too much who the OC was. So it's interesting, but just a lot of questions, right? Like on the other side of DK, like what does that mean? Like how much does DK really help free up another wide receiver because I don't really feel like he's elite and that he needs to be guarded as, he's elite as some of those other guys. So it's a bit of a head scratcher. I think it would make sense for what the Pittsburgh Steelers need, right? They need offensive weapons very clearly. You could see that they had nobody else to throw the ball to. And even when they threw it to DK, it didn't really go all that great always. So I think it makes sense for fantasy. I don't know how to feel about it. It kind of leaves me like, just kind of shade like I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how to feel. Really, it's just eh.
Yeah, I think Denzel Boston, I need to watch more tape on him, but he's really big wide receiver, 6'4". It's kind of slender, 210. So it's kind of a weird pick for me. Is feeling like Denzel Boston wants to be like the outside guy, where DK, really wants to live already. So it's kind of a weird pick, unless like it's a condemnation on DK, right? But that would feel weird too, right? They just brought him in on an extension last year, although it's a new offensive scheme, new head coach. So maybe that's kind of driving this, but yeah, the Steelers doing that is it's something. I'm not excited about Denzel Boston there. I would be more excited about this next pick with the Los Angeles Chargers drafting Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. Sadiq coming in, it's just another weapon for Justin Herbert, right? I mean, now he's got Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnson kind of broke out last year, Aranda Gadsden. Putting those two on the end, running 12 personnel with Aranda Gadsden and Kenyon Sadiq. Sadiq would probably fall into, more the pass blocker. Aranda Gadsden doesn't really profile that way. And Kenyon Sadiq's a pretty good pass blocker, despite what you may hear on some of these haters on Safriq over here. But yeah, I mean, Aranda Gadsden's really wants to be the pass catcher there. So I still think there's a fit for Sadiq here. Probably not the ideal landing spot for him, but at least he's going to a good offense with a good quarterback. Are you seeing things differently here, though?
Yeah, definitely. I would be so sad if
So
Sadiq went
sad.
here because I mean we already saw
Sadiq.
Sadiq. Yeah, because I mean we already saw that offense last year cannibalize kind of itself for fantasy purposes, right? Lad McConkey had a horrible 6 game start to the season or something like that, and then I guess what's Keenan Allen is vacating his targets. But I mean, they drafted 2 rookie wide receivers last year who are going to start getting involved. Around the Gatson, seemed like a decent focal point of the offense. So it just feels like a place where, although maybe it makes sense and he's going to a good offense with Mike McDaniel now calling or being the OC. It's just not that one of those like exciting places that you'd hope he'd go to, right? It's just so crowded. He could get lost in the shuffle and he might not have that like earlier performance, earlier breakout that you'd be hoping for. He might be waiting for either Gadsden to not, get renewed or traded or cut. And then, for a QJ or one of these other guys to kind of make some room for him to catch more passes.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like I'd just be happy that he'd be landing on a good offense with the Chargers here. I mean, if they have a healthy offensive line, and you got Omarion Hampton coming out of the backfield, you got Lad McConkey and Quentin Johnson lining up on the outside, like put Sadiq and Aranda Gas in there. Like I don't see how the Chargers fail in that point. I mean, really, it's Justin Herbert isn't who everyone thinks he is at that point, and then we all stop making excuses for him.
I was
Yeah,
about to say you're falling into the if trap for Justin Herbert,
yeah. I don't know,
but we'll
man.
see.
I get it. Like you said, like they're gonna cannibalize each other. But if that offense is as good as we think it is, maybe they just elevate each other. And, three, maybe even four of these guys are relevant, top 24 in their positions. I guess that doesn't say much for a tight end, but maybe these two tight ends elevate them higher into like the top 12 or something. And then you get these wide receivers at, the top 24. But we'll leave that story for another day. Let's keep moving here because we got at least one more pick. I think two more. Yeah, here's the second one, or the last of the two, which is Malachi Fields, going to the Buffalo Bills, Notre Dame wide receiver. I'm not gonna lie, this one wasn't on my radar. But him going to the Bills, maybe it makes sense. The Bills kind of do weird things with their draft picks already, but they say that he's got a wide catch radius to complement Khalil Shakir here. Do you know much about Malachi Fields?
I do not. I mean, he was not one of the ones I think we really touched on, um, because we haven't done our wide receiver show yet. So he's not a player I'm super familiar with. I think it makes sense. It is a position of need for the Bills, at least the wide receiver, as we've seen, like they clearly need somebody else. I think I'd be much happier if they kind of like moved up and took one of the other guys, like a Denzel Boston or even. The guy Jordan Tyson from Arizona, like I would be much
Yeah.
happier, but maybe that's they don't have draft capital. They've been a pretty badly drafting team overall, so I mean, you'd hope they if they did get a pass catcher, it'd be exciting because he's going to Josh Allen, but you'd be hoping it be a better pick than Keon Coleman, right? Like they
It's,
clearly
I'm
did
not gonna
not
lie.
evaluate
This
that wide
profile
receiver
looks a
talent.
lot like Keon Coleman, man.
Oh
I mean,
man, we're just
he's
we're just gonna do it again, aren't we, Buffalo? Jeez.
6'4", 220. I mean, last year's analytics, he had a 0.217 targets per route run, a 2.2 yards per route run, so that's relatively good. Not a ton of yak. Like it does feel very Keon Coleman-y. Uh, not great. I'm gonna look at what his contested rates here. See if I can pull those up pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
While you look for that, the last guy here to talk about was a guy that I think I'm pretty excited about in terms of a wide receiver that we do know, KCC, as I try to call him, KC Concepcion, going to the Seattle Seahawks with the 32nd pick. I would like that. I think JSN is definitely the alpha by all means necessary, but having another guy to spread the offense and just help create space, allow for JSN to not be completely bracketed, blanketed would only be helpful. I wouldn't be scared of that. But let's hear the Keon Coleman-ness of this guy.
I mean, he has 23 contested targets of his 62 total targets. So I mean, that's like more than a third of the time his they're contested. I mean, he at least has a high yards per route run to lean on, but I mean, that's not great, Bob. That feels very Keon Coleman-y. Yeah, I don't know that I
Something
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
What do you think about KCC going to the Seahawks?
Bro, come on. That's not fair. Like coming off of a Super Bowl win and they get I think you called him KDC, Kill Death Concepcion. No, but
I don't remember that.
put on the glasses,
I
get the
put on the
neuralizer.
glasses. I do not
Uh
recall that.
KC Concepcion, that yeah, that wouldn't feel fair. I mean, he would be the replacement for Rashid Shaheed. I feel like he just gets relegated to the Z role there with JSN moving around and then KC Concepcion kind of playing either the outside or the slot depending on where JSN lines up. But honestly, like Shaheed probably doesn't even see the field with how much 12 personnel that they're running over there at this point. I would expect KC Concepcion to overtake Shaheed fairly easily. I like Concepcion quite a bit, and Seattle Seahawks, if they're looking to draft a receiver here, have to be drafting him laughing at the Buffalo Bills, drafting another Keon Coleman. Oh man, and me as a Niner fan just would hate to see another weapon for us to worry about. Darnold has another guy to throw the ball to, but oh man, that would be rough. Um, but yeah, I would like the spot. I mean, as little as we saw them spread the ball out in that offense, I would have to feel like Casey Concepcion's good enough where he's gonna play himself into a role there, and maybe that's bad for JSN. I'm not really sure what to make of that. Do you have thoughts on what impact that would have?
No, I mean it might have slight, target share. If there's another guy that can actually get open and get the ball, Shaheed was only there for, part of the season. It might affect those numbers, but nothing to worry about at all for JSN in terms of like, his ability to continue to do what he does.
Yeah, what he goes from a 40% target share to a 30. Poor guy.
Yeah. Right?
All right. Well, that kind of ends the round one, or I guess Daniel Jeremiah's 2026 NFL Mock 2 here. So let's hit the outro and get out of here. That was fun, man. I look forward to these mocks. It's always fun to kind of dive in and see where these experts have these guys going, and it's fun to daydream or have a day nightmare, depending on your outlook on it. But yeah, sign me up for Jeremiah Love going to the Chiefs. That would be fun for fantasy.
100%. As always, guys, thank you for checking us out on RookieHQ here with the Player Profiler Network. If you like what we're doing, we have our own podcast. You can find a Player Profiler now. You can find it wherever you get podcasts. Link will be in the description. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. We do roster reviews, league reviews. We do lots of cool stuff. So, just check us out if you don't mind. If you're enjoying what you heard here today, and that's Future First. We're out.